All right, let's see if we are live. See if we are live today. I think we are live. So, hello everyone. I named this whole title "Late Night IT Community." Just a random stuff. We'll be doing some random stuff today. Not much. So let me see if we have anybody who wants to join this session. They can go to the community section, and then normally that's how people join in. So definitely you guys can join in like that. It's Friday, my normal Pakistani clothes culture type of clothes. I love this. And today I want to start with first this information. A lot of people sometimes ask me, "Do you have any Linux stuff available?" Now we don't focus too much on the Linux area or Mac area, but if you go to Google right here and just type Linux Cisco Linux, and if you just type right here Linux Essential, the first link, it's actually a free course from Linux with, I think, collaboration with this NDG something. And if you come down right here, this is a 70 hours worth of course, and pretty cool stuff. I mean, I have actually went inside the course, and it's kind of like they have little practical stuff, and on the right side, you will be learning, and then you do that little practice. So it's like a command by command type of course. So I still feel like 70 hours is enough for you to learn the fundamentals in Linux, because some people do have this requirement when they go to jobs. They may have some type of requirement to, okay, you know what, I saw some Linux in this job, so what do I do right here? So then after that, if you go on this course and you take it, it's free. Then of course I'm sure this is definitely going to help you. Now, if you ask us, do we offer anything in the practice lab area? If you come over here and do show retired title, now, like I said, remember, retired doesn't mean that the lab is useless. It has a lot to offer. It's a lot to offer because it's still skills, right? They only show the new one um, in this unhidden area. So if you come over here, you see they have LX0 102, 103, and then 104. So you got three courses in Linux. So if you go to the 104 one, you can see there's a lot of information inside this course that's going to be practical. So shell scripting, and you start something. So we got Win Console, and then we have PLab and all this. I think probably what Fedora, Ubuntu, and stuff like that. So of course they have pretty good stuff. Practice labs still have some good three labs on Linux. So if you, let's say, go to take this free training from them, which is free, and then maybe you can take the practice lab. If you already have practice lab and you combine these two, you're going to get a pretty good skills in Linux. Now that doesn't mean you're going to become a Linux administrator. That's a totally different thing. Ron, what's up, man? How are you? Anybody who wants to join this, I put the link inside the community section. You guys are welcome to join in and talk to me. This is not a training or anything. I'm just gonna do random stuff, and if it feel like you're interested in this, you can definitely watch it. If not, hey, this will be recorded. So yeah, somebody asked me that, one of my member, because I think she had an interview coming soon, and they put Linux in there. Now remember, one thing I want to tell people, that doesn't mean when people put Linux or Mac inside the description, so you'll just go and start learning about Linux like now. Like, let's say you have an interview in 3 days, you can learn about basics, but this is going to be totally, like a pretty much messing your mind if you're going to go and try to learn Mac operating system in, let's say, 4 days, and you're trying to like tell a person that I know about this stuff. You simply tell a person you don't know about it, you start learning about it, but of course you can learn pretty quickly on the job too. But the main thing, if you're going to go for these jobs like help desk, majority of them are going to look for Windows specific skills, unless this company is too much on Mac, or they have a lot of graphic designers and stuff like that. Their department is, so they will tell you that we're pretty much a Mac shop, or we are a Linux shop. And then this is where you will be doing your skills and everything. Of course, then that's where maybe you can put a lot of focus inside that area. But that's definitely something that I want to tell people, that don't worry too much about when somebody put Windows, Linux, Mac in just one line. That doesn't mean you're going to be expert in these three areas. That's just mind-blowing if people are going to do that to you. You go to the interview and they expect you to know this stuff. No, that's not going to happen. There's a lot of people that are good in one thing, another person is not good in another thing. So that's how we deal with it. Okay. So now what I will do is I'm going to jump into a different area where I want to talk about basically this question that somebody asked me today. Is this one right here? It's pretty interesting question because a lot of people do ask me these type of questions. What do you dislike the most about being a sysadmin, and how much experience did you have before you landed that position? So two pretty good questions right here. Disliking is in a sysadmin is like I told this answer that sometimes you were assigned a project that requires skills that you are kind of like not aware of, or you haven't touched it a lot. And basically companies go for products, right? They go for content management systems, they go for cloud type of systems, they go for searching abilities, and they go for like marketing systems and stuff like that. And for those systems to be implemented, then a sysadmin is heavily involved. And then of course you get to immediately start learning the system that they are going to buy or they are going for. So they do give trainings, but those trainings are so fast and so on the spot that you're always tensed. Like you're like, damn, they're going to deploy this like in the next 2 months. And I'm really not ready for that kind of learning right now. So definitely that's where, things can get a little tricky. Let's see who joined it. Welcome, Rahal. How are you? So that's where I would say that, one of the things that I don't like about this job and sysadmin area is that you're always in like a kind of like, a quick mode. Like you really need to learn something very quickly because you get to deal with things that people have rely on doing. That's where their business is running and everything. So that's where I'm gonna say that I don't like that part of it, but of course that's a part of the job. The other part that I say is that the fast technology, like how fast technology is moving. Alia, are you the one who was on Udemy? I was the one on Udemy 6 years ago before I had a conflict with them. I left Udemy. Then my course was doing pretty well. I had like 5,000 people, probably 6,000. We had a lot of people on that, but then of course I kind of got into. At that time, they were not that big. They were like even the CEO was sending emails directly to people. So I basically what they did to us, people who were, giving them members and everything, is that they told us that okay, whatever you made on YouTube, you need to download all the YouTube videos and you have to convert it in Udemy, and then we have to check it and then we have to allow it. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I have like millions of my videos on YouTube embedded in Udemy. You want me to go and download all that stuff and put it right here and provide a tool? I mean, if you want me to do something that big, then provide a tool. They didn't have that. So I kind of got really pissed off. And then, of course, I left that. So the course is still available out there. I guess it's just not available to public because they remove all the old courses and then it's kind of like in draft mode or something. So, of course, that's where JobSkillsShare took a decision that okay, we're gonna go on our own. We don't need anybody, because then of course we kind of got into more of custom stuff and like what we're doing right now. We're giving people labs, we're giving people equipment, servers, and stuff like that. Udemy doesn't do that kind of stuff, and they won't let you do that stuff. So that's where things got a little tricky with them. So of course we left Udemy. Now we're on our own. We're doing our own thing right now. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I was on Udemy. So here another piece is right here that of course I talked about how fast the technology is moving and how fast you need to start thinking about where's my future. Like if I say that I'm going to be keeping learning about Windows operating system servers and servers and servers and just the servers inside the VMs too, this means after a few years I might lose my job. Why? Because so many of these technologies are moving to Azure or AWS. So as you can see, so many of my videos have shown you that how the data center got shrinked. Some of the examples were clear, like, there were nice data centers out there and now it's like only a few pieces left. Alex, what's up, man? How are you? So how quickly the data centers are also shrinking is also a pretty good, like not a good thing, but it's like that's where I also hate about this career is that you have to be very much involved in what's going on right now in the current market to be able to be able to be confidently do your job. If you get fired, if somebody lets you go, or the company goes out of business, then at least I know that with my skills I can go and get a job very quickly, because I am kind of like marketable. People can rely on me. I feel like I'm a little business on my own. When you have that kind of skills, then you can also utilize these skills, and then you're in the market. If I don't do that, then of course I am going to be out of the market. I cannot be doing teaching stuff and not be working or with the clients or my own jobs or anything like that. If I don't do that, then I won't be able to teach, right? Then I'm not marketable, even in here. So even a trainer on a YouTube or an LMS system or online system or whatever you want to call it, a trainer at some point also will lose the job or the skills, because then of course your students will not take you seriously. And that's what happens in the college, right? We go to the college, a trainer just says that open a book, and then a student is like, man, he's teaching me, so this thing is really old. I mean, I know I'm not going to get a job with that. So you see how you lose your interest. So that's another thing that is I like about it, because you have to be in the technology, but the bad side of it that you have to be learning so much at the same time to be able to be in that level where you're like confident enough to, that kind of stuff. So that's one thing about the projects, the products that companies pick. The second thing is that how fast the technology is moving. And another one is that I was talking about, okay, yeah, so yeah, you're working with inside your company, and sometimes as a sysadmin, you're working a lot on a very specific areas, like a site or a product is coming very slow, or a specific product is coming pretty slow. And if it's, let's say, 4 servers or 5 servers load balancing that product content, then the battle becomes between you as a sysadmin and a programmers. And that's where another part where I don't like it is that it comes to us first, because the product is running on the servers, while in your head that that's something. I don't think that's something to do with a server right here. It's like it's not. It doesn't sound like a server issue, but you still got to go through so much of looking around and opening and some tools and finding out, and you spend probably even a day on it, maybe or 2 days, and you still can't figure out. A programmer just comes in and like, oh, that's one of the code. I think we're missing some of the codes right here. There is an echo on the background. Let me see if I have. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Is anybody else hearing the echo? Like, I'm not hearing anything on my end. So I have just only one microphone on, unless maybe if you have a speaker on or something like that. Yeah, so if anybody else is, I'm for 3 years on a start new job, but I'm not good in troubleshooting, and you gotta. Okay, so is everybody good? Everybody is like listening to my voice clearly, or do you guys have also echo in there? Okay, I think we're having some. I'm not getting it. Like, are we having issues, or we don't have issues? Because only Elizar is having issue, or everybody's having issue. Good here. Okay, that's fine then. I think that's Elizar. Maybe you should, maybe look at maybe if your speakers on or something like that. Maybe that's why you're having it. So to continue, and I will answer you, Congo. I'll answer you. So basically, this is where another battle will start in the sysadmin area, where you're working. Those type of things are very easy to fix, like server, Active Directory, virtualization, putting something on the cloud, putting a product on the cloud, putting a website on the cloud, making a website running on HTTPS, redirects on the website. Those are something that you're going to learn very easily. Once you do it, of course, the first time it's going to be a little tedious, but the first time you do it, you're going to learn that. But the problem where you're going to face a lot of the time is when there's a code issue, and the code is conflicting with maybe some kind of caching system like Cloudflare. So there's a lot of products, or maybe a security products or something like that. There's a lot of products that one code has to get out to the public. Then this is where a sysadmin and a programmers gets like, they think that this is a programmer issue, this, and programmer thinks that this is a, servers related issue. Then of course sometimes you win it because you're like, okay, yeah, this is an issue with the program, the program that's being developed. But sometimes, yeah, it is actually a server related issue. So you cannot just directly blame somebody. You have to really go in there and find that problems. So if you look at it in this area, then of course we rely on tools like Fiddler is one of the tools that I would say is probably one of the best tools that you're going to come across, and you're going to find out a lot of sysadmins are using it. And of course, Microsoft has its own like monitoring tools and stuff like that, like the sysinternal is one there. I think I already talked about that. Also, there's some advanced troubleshooting techniques that I showed on my YouTube channel. So if you type advanced troubleshooting, then there's a video about basic to advanced troubleshooting. I'm using like some kind of inspection tool, and it kind of reads all of your data on your computer, and then you get to figure out things like that. But I use like Fiddler sometime for if it's a web related issues. And of course, then at certain level, you will stop your troubleshooting because you just can't get in and don't understand the code yourself. If you know about coding, then yeah, you're at a different level. But of course, not a lot of people will have that kind of knowledge or that kind of time to invest. So they will just end at somewhere they're going to say that that's not a server issue, right? I checked it on multiple servers. The issue is the same all over. So sometimes you just have to kind of come up with that. And that's something that, like, say somebody say, what do you hate about this job? Is I don't hate it, but it's just like sometimes it gets too tedious, too problematic for you to make the call that is this really our issue or that's not an our issue. So that's where things are going to get tricky for a lot of new people, and even people with experience are going to come across these type of things. Now, somebody asked me, hey Danish, I'm 43 years old and I start a new job in IT, but I feel like I'm not good in troubleshooting. Any good way to analyze? Troubleshooting is a whole world of its own. It's how you work on your systems and how you quickly realize that these are the systems that I'm using in my company, and how can you implement some of the proactive tools already in your system to be able to troubleshoot better. So I'll give you an example that if you have a system to proactively monitor all of your desktops and servers, and you have events that get generated, and you see the emails that, yeah, okay, I got the email that out of 500 desktops, these 30 desktops are running out of C space, meaning C drive is running out of it. That's proactive, meaning you're not waiting for people to call you on the same day that I can't do anything. Well, look, the problem with a new person is going to be this. They're going to pick up the call and they're going to say, I'm having an issue. I'm double clicking on this application, Outlook, and it's not coming up. It's giving me some weird error. But the Outlook error is not telling you that it's a space issue, right? So based on your knowledge, based on your experience, you pick up the call, you're already in a very reactive mode, you're already stressed out. So then this is where you get stressed out. You don't know if this is a really space issue. But then when you realize after like 3 hours of working on that computer, you realize that I am clicking on other things, and at the same time, somewhere, maybe a Windows will throw a write error that, okay, you're running out of space. But you found it only when you went out there, being reactive, working on it, and you're doing it, you found it out that way. But if you had a tool that was monitoring your network all over, and you got alerts already, then you already knew that this is the issue that you're going to face after 2 weeks, or you just go and fix it. But if you don't have these kind of tools, then of course it's not easy to troubleshoot anything. Right now, there's millions of different type of troubleshootings things are happening right now. So what we do in our platform, in a practice lab, in a testout.com, now practice lab has its own way of putting troubleshooting videos out there, the labs out there. So if I come over here and let's say we go to the practice lab and I open something like, let's say, A+ course, which is the first course which everybody goes through in our platform. So you can see right here, if you're looking at my screen, Congo, here you go, troubleshooting Microsoft Windows issues, troubleshooting PC security issues, And then on the bottom right here, it says removal, Microsoft removal, stuff like that. And then if you're on the bottom right here, they have a little bit more stuff in here too, like that. But if you click on the troubleshooting Microsoft Windows issues and you click on start, then of course there's a lot of information that they're sharing right here. So right now my lab is not open yet. But again, so this is where you're gonna see that that's how you're gonna learn this stuff basically, okay? Based on going there. But if you go to that, let's say testout.com, which is we give this access in our live training where you can go directly to their website and get it. They have in every course, they have like on the bottom, like a lot of troubleshooting scenarios, and those are simulated. So of course, some of the things you have to just gonna go over it and learn it. So now that's actually a good question because I was gonna actually show something to you all. This is what we're doing new stuff right here. So look at this right here. So if you guys are looking at this, this is something new that we're gonna develop right now, and we're in the middle of development. So what will happen is that people are gonna get access to probably our premium members and our live members. They're gonna get access to something like this basically. So they're going to see that there's going to be a domain controller right here. Then there's going to be this help desk machine, and then there's going to be Stacy's home machine, and then there's going to be this Stacy's work machine, which is going to be connected to the domain. So let me see if I can log into it. Show it to you guys right now. So then, of course, this is going to be Stacy's work machine. So that's actually a great point that you made in the right time. So what will happen is that we're going to give people ticketing scenarios. Now, a lot of these courses, practice labs, and everything like they are in a very specific, content. Like they're designed for CompTIA A plus certification, so they cannot get out of that. We don't have that kind of rules in our platform. So what we do is we're going to give 4 machines like that. That's going to have a work home machines, work group machine, and then of course domain controller and a help desk machine. And in this, you're going to get scenarios that it's going to be already like an internet will not be working. Let's say the home machine. Let's say if I go to this machine right here and I click on IE right now. Let's see if that works right now. Let's see if I can make that work. Click on it right now. I don't know why it's a little slow today. Here, I open it. Okay, so we're going to give a scenario like this. We're going to basically say, okay, this is an IE right now, and this is Stacy's machine. She called you from the home, and she's saying that I'm trying to get to this website, but I can't get to this website. So how do you resolve it? Now, I'm not going to show that because this is what we're building right now. So everything right now is going to be like that. So a person is going to go there. Okay, that's a home machine. Sadio, how are you, man? I'll see you tomorrow too. So here, let's say we're going to give this home machine like this. I don't know why when I'm on Zoom, this is because of Zoom is not working, or let's say, what's up, Jerry? How are you, man? Let me see. Jerry, are you there?
Yes, sir. I just joined. Good evening.
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm pretty good.
Good. So Jerry, we're just discussing that this is something I've been talking a little bit random stuff, but somebody asked me, how do I learn about troubleshooting? I'm not good at troubleshooting. So what we're doing right now, we're creating this new method in our platform, which is going to have 3. One is going to be a domain controller. One is going to be a help desk machine. One is going to be a home machine for a user, and it's going to be another is going to be a work machine. And we're going to create tickets based on that. So it's going to be like a ticket is going to be like Stacy will say that I cannot access jobskillshare.org from this machine. So if she does that, we're not going to give solutions right now. None of solutions are going to be provided. It's going to be a ticket basically in our platform, right?
Okay.
And people are going to access this, and they have to resolve it based on their trainings. They can go outside, free training. They can go to Google, and if they can fix it, that means they're good. They can fix this stuff, right? So clearly it says that jobskillshare.org is not working. So there's an issue going on. And that's how, like somebody asked me that, how do I get better in troubleshooting? Now, if you get something like this, Jerry, what would you think? Would you get better in troubleshooting?
Yeah, just trying to figure out what's wrong with it. I mean, apparently there's something wrong with the website and on what I'm seeing here.
Exactly. So the thing is this, that what I'm saying is we're going to make our labs based on ticketing. So the ticket will show like priority 1, and fix it. And they're going to access the same thing. Like somebody will click on it, they will get the same machine will open up, and now they'll practically do this.
Okay.
Which is something that I haven't seen so far in other platforms, in a way that it doesn't become like a ticket. It's like a course, right? So here, if you go to Practice Lab, which is amazing platform, and I think it's one of the best platforms that we have so far. Actually, for some reason, my Practice Lab is also messing up today. Hold on, let me log in again here, okay? I don't know why today is like a little laggy. Everything is a little laggy for me. How are you, Jerry, so far? I mean,
pretty good. So far, so good.
Were you working today?
I was running errands, running out and about, trying to get some parts for a laptop that I'm upgrading the hard drive to a solid state drive. I put a 500 Samsung Evo 860 Evo.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I did an image on it, and then I downloaded the. I don't know if you've used the Samsung Magician.
No, I never heard of it. What's that?
Here, give me 1 second. I got the laptop running, but I need to give access on my firewall for the video because I got it configured to block so I can share the screen.
Oh, okay. Is that like some kind of imaging tool?
What it is, Samsung Magician, what it does, it runs on the computer. And I'm just gonna use that camera on. There you are. There it is.
Oh,
so computer went to sleep. It's a software basically.
Oh, nice.
I'm trying to see.
So it's like copying stuff, or what? What is that? What does it do?
What it's doing right now? It's scanning for and correcting any errors or abnormalities on the hard drive.
Okay, so this is a Samsung product, basically.
It's a Samsung product, and it's a Samsung software.
Okay, and it's a Samsung laptop.
No, it's an HP laptop.
Oh, okay, so you can use that product. Okay.
Yeah, you can use the product as long as you have a Samsung SSD or NVMe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If you have a Samsung SSD NVMe, then you can use Samsung Magician, and I've used it quite a bit. It's amazing. It's pretty good. I like it because it tells you also.
I got it now. I got it. I think I have probably. Now, I have not used it myself, but since I use a lot of these SSDs on the servers, I always see like there's a software comes with it. Like when I bought those SSDs for all these servers, and I'm like, why are they offering me these softwares right there? So I'm sure they may have. It's because when you do if you want to take a data from one Samsung SSD to another one, I think that's probably what it's doing, right? Easily migrating it.
That's the one you're talking about is a Samsung data migration.
Okay.
That's so you can image one hard drive to another. Oh, okay. And you can use, if let's say this is the hard drive that came out of the Seagate.
I see now. Okay.
This is the original. And then I've got the cable that is USB.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you just added that. Okay.
Yeah, I just added to the USB. And granted, this method right here through the USB is slow. It took about 3.5 hours to this.
Oh wow.
Image to do, because
3.5 hours for image. Wow, that's.
This is really slow. It's a mechanical drive, as you can tell.
Yeah. Yep.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I just left it and walked away.
That's actually a good point. You made it today. As everything is on the point today. Somebody's like, how do I do troubleshooting? And I was like, hey, this is what we're gonna do for the troubleshooting. And now I'm like, okay, for the slow drives, man, I'm telling you that people, if you really, really wanna do labs, please invest money for yourself in SSDs.
SSD, I agree.
Like if you are going to be doing any lab or virtual labs, or you have a 16 GB RAM, and if you, let's say, come and ask me that, hey, I have a 16 GB RAM on my laptop, can I do VirtualBox? And if you have like a normal hard drive, trust me, you're just gonna have a nightmares of that. Like it's just gonna
Yeah.
be very slow, and you're not gonna like it. Because one of the things that I don't like to do is that when you get annoyed with this whole slow processes, right?
Yeah.
What's up, Julian? How are you? So, and I was gonna actually show that today. Like I wanted to, because I'm doing it like some random stuff today. I was like, I'm gonna talk about sysadmin stuff. Somebody asked me about the comment in the beginning. I don't know if you watched that. Then I talked about somebody says, how do you troubleshoot? So we're creating this whole thing, but of course, like I said, we have a practice labs in our platform, and I mean, you can learn anything
Yeah.
from practice lab. It's a real servers, real desktops, real routers, real switches. So if people are not using that and they have bought this access, trust me, you're wasting your money. You're wasting your money right now, because
Hmm.
then this is just too much to give away right now. Like if people are not doing that.
Right.
What's up, Julian? How are you? It's connecting audio. Okay, I'll wait. So of course that's answer. I hope you got my answers, Congo. Congo, if you want to join our academy, it's not academy, it's a platform. So if you go to jobskillshare.org, you can do it two-way. You can start the free learning on jobskillshare.org/free. This is a full free courses. And if you want to be paying for all these labs, just go to jobskillshare.org and click on membership. It's not cheap, but we give a lot of access, hands-on access. So, okay, now again, coming back to this point right here, that we're going to give a domain controller in our future, way of training. So, but the only problem with Jerry with this is this, that we cannot, we don't have a good way of giving people this resource for like a long time. It can be long time, right?
Right.
It's very costly first, and it's not easy to manage this stuff like that. So when you create tickets inside a live environments, a lot of things just doesn't go well. So you gotta make it in a way that, okay, you gotta reset in 24 hours or something. So what we are doing right now, we're not doing this for learning purposes, by the way. We're doing this for, you have already learned from so many other resources. You don't need to learn more. Come here and test yourself. Because when you get a priority one ticket, you don't spend 24 hours to fix that. Let's say if somebody says that I'm having an issue with my map drive, or I cannot add some files in the map drive, and I have to really do this because I got a project in 15 minutes. Of course, you got to fix that in 15 minutes then, right? I mean, even before 15 minutes, you got to fix it.
Right.
So we're going to do this. We're going to give this type of access based on that. Like somebody has to come in, they learn everything. Now they got, like, let's say 20 tickets, and they have 24 hours to finish those 20 tickets. And that's very doable, right? But it's going to be basic stuff for help desk kind of level of, stuff. So I feel like this is going to really, really uh, add that spice on already what we're offering a lot of people, right? So I'm sure this is really going to be helpful. Um, so coming back to my sysadmin stuff now, a lot of people ask me what kind of tools do you use for troubleshooting and stuff like that. Of course, most of the server issues, most of the VM stuff issues, the virtualization comes with its own tools. The servers come with its own tools, like Dell servers, HP servers, other Lenovo servers. If you, whatever type of servers you use, they come with their own type of tools, and that's something we use heavily. But inside, we don't use that kind of stuff on a hardware level that much. We really, really use a lot of tools that is on a software level. So what I mean by that is we work a lot on how the web server works, how the databases work. So then, of course, you really got to get inside of that application, how it's running. So you have to then use some type of tool like Fiddler. So Fiddler, you probably, most of you have heard about it. It can decrypt the HTTPS, SSL kind of stuff. So right now you see how it's showing HTTP, but if you go to the tools and you basically go to the options, and in options you have this HTTP option, and it says decrypt HTTPS traffic. So then if you have, let's say, a website that is running under HTTPS, then it's going to start pulling that information also. So then, of course, after that, you get to see more stuff, right? Because at the end, when you render a website and you said, okay, why am I having an issue right here? It's showing me a 404 error, or it's showing me a 500 something, or showing me some, let's say 472 right now. or something like that, then of course that's where you kind of see that, okay, that's where my problem is. But that might not be a real problem, by the way. A problem may rely inside the database, inside the server itself. It's not going to be that easy, but so it's not going to be in that easy to learn this stuff. Also, you may find one time that you may get an error like that and you fix it, but sometimes you got to even go even more deeper. You have to do tracking on the server, tracking over here on the front end, like what the user see, right, in the browser level. So you do that, and then you kind of gather information, and based on step-by-step information, then you get to the point or get to the issue. So that would be a very normal, typical sysadmin job if they have a little experience. A normal, typical junior sysadmin job would be spinning up servers, spinning up websites, recycling app pools. App pools, when I say app pools, this means in a web server, there's like these little apps and they have app pools. So they may be doing certain things that as senior level sysadmins have already done it, and now it's repetitive, right? It's like a site needs to be reset multiple times, maybe in a week. So maybe that's something they're going to give it to you. While you understand it, the next time you may start troubleshooting it as well with them, and then you get to learn more how to use these tools. That's where you get to the senior level stuff. Then you may start developing scripts based on what kind of environment you're working on. So you may be good at Python, you may be good at PowerShell, you may be good at some other type of scripting, and then you get to develop those type of scripts. Because a lot of times what happens is that we may be working in an environment, and then the manager will come to you and say, hey, you know what? We have 50 vendors joining our RDP sessions in this time, right? And or maybe they're regularly coming in, but I want you to tell me, when do they log in, what server do they log in, and what time do they log off, and what systems do they do, what kind of things they like touches, right? They don't want to capture every single thing, which you can do actually from certain systems, but maybe you don't have a system like that. You don't want to invest money in that kind of system. Then you have to run a script on an AD level. So even if they try to go and delete these scripts, the script has already ran. So whatever they do, it kind of go after them, right? The script goes after them. They log in, the script runs right away. They don't have a chance to remove the script or do anything. They may not even have rights to do that. So then getting that data, right, in some format is also another skill for you then. Okay, how do you output that data somewhere? How do you tell a manager? The manager will not be interested in your script anymore, right? A manager is interested in what? In just knowing that so-and-so Jerry logged into that server at nighttime, 2 a.m. What did he log in at nighttime, by the way, at 2 a.m., right? So if it hits after 12 a.m. or 7 a.m., I want an email. I don't want people to be logging in our network after 10 p.m., right? Like, well, what would you log in at 10 p.m. in our network, right, Jerry? That would be alarming, right?
Oh, yeah.
So then, and the manager will say that, can you add that functionality to that script to send me an email if somebody logged in at 10 p.m., right? So you see how you're dealing with things that you may be like, oh, how do I do that, right? Like you definitely would start thinking about certain things like, okay, how do I do these kind of things, right? So then, of course, this is where you're going to get into more automation or scripting and stuff like that, right? Welcome, Sanju. How are
Absolutely.
you?
That's interesting, though.
So do you get it? Like these are the things that we don't just sit there and just kind of like, start. Let me add a 2019 server on a virtual box. On a Hyper-V or a VMware, right? That's not something that we do on a regular basis. That's something that we do it, and that's it, done. Forgot. And we will do it like one time from a template also. We'll have a template. We'll just kind of like run it. Or maybe a junior sysadmin level person will just install it. I mean, installation is nothing, right? You already done that a million times now, right?
Right.
So based on that, like I say, things can get very, very technical and very tricky later on for a sysadmin. But the thing is the good thing about it is these are all skills. So you're going to go back to another company, and when you say that I have all this type of skills, then of course that's where they're talking about 100K, 120K. That's where you're making that mark that I'm not a person who's going to be going for like less than that. Why? Because I have these skills, right? So that's where a lot of people ask me, okay, how do you develop these skills and stuff like that? I mean, all of this stuff comes from learning, from practice. Practical stuff at the end is going to be the biggest thing for you. If you don't deploy a website outside of your network, you will never become a proper IT professional. I can tell you right now. If you do everything inside your network, then you're already, things are open to you, things are working. If you never open that, like, let's say you have a website, you say, I want to become a sysadmin. So you run that server, put a website on it. And then maybe from your phone network or from other network, connect your other laptop or desktop and try to connect to that website. Were you able to do it? Great. Then how do you do it? How is this website running? How is it connecting? Try to understand that network. Try to understand the data. Try to understand that flow. So then you get to become better. Why? Because as soon as you land a job, Jerry and other people who are listening to me, you're not going to be working inside your network, by the way. Like you're working inside your network, but you're working on a product that is available to public, right? Like jobskillshare.org, if somebody has to register to our website and they have to go through certain LMS systems, they have to track all this process and everything. If I do this in my internal network, then I'm just not properly doing stuff correctly, because I know the members doesn't live inside my network. Members are living outside my network, right? So the proper way to learn about sysadmin skills, also you need to have two networks, and both has to be separated from each other. Both doesn't know anything about each other. So when you deploy a product, when you do certain things and you think that that's going to be how businesses are going to be working, most of the businesses, then maybe you should practice like that. And that's where you get to come across issues that you can fix right away. So then you will go for solutions. You're going to look for solutions, and you're going to find more practical skills for yourself. And of course, other than that, you can keep watching our videos on YouTube, ask us questions and stuff like that. That's another way. And or Practice Lab has a lot of videos and stuff like that. Okay. So, okay, now I wanted to talk about another thing. A really cool thing is this guy right here. This is another thing that I use. If you guys want to try it, it's called what? It's called Firefox. I don't know how many of you know this. There's a developer edition for Firefox too, right? I don't know how many. Jerry, do you know this? So there's a
nope.
Yeah. So there's a Firefox developer web browser available for public to download. So you can just go ahead and download it. So what it does, just like Fiddler, it just adds more ability for developers to troubleshoot their problems. But as a sysadmin, you're also working on a lot of these type of tools. So what I would like to do is I'm going to go in there and actually, I always lose my mouse when I try to download this from here. I'm using a network mouse. So when you do this kind of stuff, it just stuck in the middle. So I don't know why. So you see, when I download that Firefox Developer Edition, then I can go to certain sites and I can actually run some of the tools right there. KevTech is going to be live tomorrow, by the way, at 1 p.m. So you guys should go to his channel tomorrow, ask him some questions. I don't know. He usually join in. I don't when I go live, I just go live and I just give people like 15 minutes, warning.
Mm-hmm.
And people just join in.
Is KevTech Central Time or Eastern Time?
I think Eastern Time. He's in New York, so I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eastern, yeah.
Is this browser safe? I have no idea. I mean, definitely it's Firefox. It's so this is not for browsing purposes. By the way, if you're joining in right now, I'm showing how do you utilize developer browsers to troubleshoot issues for your IT stuff. Okay. I have a class with JSS. So yeah, Sajid, we're gonna be in the class. We are gonna have a class till 3 p.m. probably tomorrow. So I don't know if I have the energy. I'll join in later on if he's still live, but I might not be able to do tomorrow because he's starting at 1. So I'm sure after 2 hours he's gonna be tired too. So if you come over here and let's say jobskillshare.org, and I'm gonna go over there. And let's say I open this website right now, and let's say there's some issue going on. Like I'll give you one example. One of the developer called us and said that they're not seeing on the site, they have this job listing bar on the right side, right? Thank you, John. Thank you so much. So the developer says that, okay, I am not seeing a bar right here. In some website, how they have like, have you seen, Jerry, like they have jobs like, hey, jobs around your area, right? It's going to say like job 1, job 2,
Yep.
job 3. But how does that work, by the way? How does it know that there's a job available 15 miles far from you, like 5 miles from you? What does that, what happens? How does it know?
I've always think that it's something with Google, and it knows your IP address, and it goes by your IP to share the location.
Yeah, so there's a geolocation feature inside browser, and it will show up right here. Like when you turn on something like that, and if it's using that geolocation code, it's gonna ask for that access. That say, hey, this website, this feature is trying to access this feature. Would you like to allow that? Or sometimes if you said that I want to use a camera, sometimes it say this site is looking for camera permissions. Would you like to allow that, right? So it was not showing anything. It was just like blank. It will just say jobs, and on the bottom, it will just show nothing, right? So we got a call that, hey, I think this is something on a server level. And I'm like, how does that, anything to do with the server? But since a call gets to you, then of course you cannot just bluntly say that this is not our call, right? You got to do troubleshooting, right? To tell the person that that's not an issue right here. So maybe there was an issue with the code that was not probably properly working or something like that. So it was not giving that access or that prompt that, okay, this site is looking for this code or this feature. So it was not doing that. So how do we get to the point that we say that this is not our issue? This is a code related issue. Of course, we will test it on a multiple servers directly, because if it's running 4 servers, let's say one server, second server, third server, fourth server, and all these 4 servers are giving one website because it's load balancing, right? Either through Cloudflare or some other A10 type of load balancer. There's a lot of load balancers out there. So what you will do first, you will first go into this server, and somehow you're gonna remove the load balancer's ability, because then you don't want to be stuck in which server is doing what, right? So you're gonna go and first open that website from one server, try on a second server, third server, fourth server. And if it's coming up correctly, or if it's doing the same process, then of course that's where you can determine that, okay, I'm having an issue with one server specifically, then I know this is a server issue, right? Server 1 is having an issue, so that user may see that server 1 every time they refresh the browser because it's cached now, right? Now, if you determine that, okay, this is not an issue with the server, then of course on a browser level, you can come over here and you can do certain things in this area. So let's clear annotation. Let me clear that. So if you go to the browser right here, you see on the bottom right here, web developer. If you click on there, you see you have multiple built-in browser tools, and that also comes inside the normal Firefox, but they give you a little bit more because it's a developer browser, right? So they'll give you more tools. That's why I like it. So if you go to the network right here, so you can use this network by clicking here. By doing that, you see it will tell you about the website and about the cache. Some information are going to be cached, some are going to be good. So even when you do the network and you see that there's a status, then you can go by status. So 200 says okay. But if it was something 400, 500, or some other error right there, it stops, right? Then you can start Googling. If you're brand new, then what you're going to do is you're going to start Googling about the specific error that you're getting. So in that specific issue, when I saw that everything was working fine, even the site was loading fine, but as soon as it will hit that piece in the browser, it will show an error, and it will show that something denied or geolocation denied or something is not working properly. So even that pop-up was not coming up. So I told the developer that, hey, I think you should look at your code. I think something is getting just right blocked from the browser. And I tried it on a different browser. So what you want to do is, if one browser is not giving you enough information, maybe the other browser will give you a better information. So you should always try multiple browsers, and you should always try these browsers and using these tools. So you have different type of, you have a console, you have a lot of cookies information right there. So try to understand these things, and sometimes you may get to the point right away. Right in the browser, you're just going to get to the point that, okay, I got an issue right there. So network and console are the two areas that I would be interested as a sysadmin, because these are the two areas that we may get a better answer for sysadmins. Now, for people who are debugging or who are basically, developers, then they can come over here and kind of find more information for themselves. But of course, like I said, you can go to any browser and then they will give you a developer tools out there and you can get that information. So some information like that, like for example, if somebody asked me what kind of sysadmin job would you do? This is a perfect example right here. This is exactly why they pay sysadmin more, because a sysadmin don't have the ability to say that I'm done. I can let's just image the server. I feel like this issue is with the server and the server is having an issue. I cannot fix it, so I'm just gonna go back with my image. You can't do that with sysadmin stuff. It's gonna be extremely, extremely rare that you're gonna get to the point where you're gonna tell your boss or your managers or your owners or whatever, whoever you're working with, that I'll go with my image that's 5 days old. I'm just gonna go with the image, right, to fix this issue. It's going to be very, very rare for you if that system is running and that system is collecting, let's say, thousands of dollars on daily basis. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to do this process first. You have to know, or this is just an example. You have to go to different tools. You have to go to Fiddler. You have to go to, different type of Microsoft tools. You have to go to Wireshark. You have to find where the problem is. And then you have to specifically, based on that problem, target different type of people. If it's a vendor specific issue, then you need to go to the vendor, because at a sysadmin level, then of course you cannot fix certain things. That has to be fixed by a vendor, right? Let's say a Cisco AnyConnect VPN is not working on a Mac. A Mac tells us that, hey, that client is pretty old. We're not going to support that in the next version of a Mac operating system. So you either better upgrade it, or we're going to put a big error out there for you. So do you, as a sysadmin, can you resolve that issue? I don't think so, right? You cannot go to Cisco AnyConnect product and fix that issue. You don't have that kind of skill. Even if you do have the skills, I mean, you can clearly tell your company that I cannot fix this, and they understand that. Most of the people know this in this level, that of course that's it. Your level of troubleshooting ends right there, and now you rely on who? Cisco. So you do what? You create a case with Cisco, and then Cisco will get in touch with you, and then they'll say, okay, this is what our developers are doing. If they have a fix, great. They might have a workaround. They may have to, because, of course, these are big operating systems out there. So that's how you gather information and kind of like do your job on a daily basis. And every day you work on different things. Any questions?
I got a quick question, Danish.
Yes.
This Firefox Developer Edition.
What's that, sorry?
The Firefox Developer Edition, you can be anywhere. You don't have to be in the same network. So you can see the console and the network tab. You can be on a totally different network.
What I'm not getting is like what you're saying is like, would you get these options if you are on a different network, like say your home PC or something? Right.
Like let's say, for example, if I have that Firefox Developer Edition, mm-hmm. and I go to jobskillshare.org, am I going to see the same thing that you're seeing?
Oh yeah. It's public.
It's public. Okay.
Yep. All of this stuff is public, right? Because there are certain things you can hide, but there are certain things that people have to go. Like for example, if somebody has to click on membership, it's public, right?
Right.
We cannot hide that, because I want people to see membership, right?
Right.
So for that information to render, the browser has to know that, and the code behind it is also public. There are certain things that cannot be public. For example, if somebody goes out there and put their credit card information, now the credit card is connected to a very secure API with PayPal or Stripe.com. Now that's not something you're going to see, because that doesn't work that way. It doesn't use a number of a credit card. It uses an API, and it uses tokens. So the token is meaningless for someone to get the token, right?
Right. Okay.
Because it has to go back to the site, get approved, and come back. So certain things for security, then of course you need to do stuff like that in the website. And for example, logins. If you go in there and you try to log in over here, you're not going to see your login and password over here. That's browsers are not going to do that. That level of because then nobody's going to be using their browsers, then, right?
Right.
That'd be really nice. Like, hey, let me go to JavaScript and let me get there. Let me get the admin username and password.
Yeah.
Well, what you use this for is that how the website is working step by step, right? Sanju, are you saying something?
Dinesh, I want to ask that in our sysadmin jobs, if any company want to develop a new website, so in our role, how much things are came means how much things for a website we have to look into.
Good question. So when a company develop a website, it's always a project, right? So the project starts with you being in the same team, like they're talking about it. So it depends on what kind of website it is. So there are certain websites that don't we don't touch. Like for example, in the same company, if it's a very large company, let's say they have about 1,000 people, right? And they may have a lot of different websites. So one website I give you an example is that Sanju is that uh,
Le baja un
Jerry,
poquito.
Jerry, can you put yourself on mute for a little bit? Yeah, thank you. So Sanju, so again, if somebody develop a website for a company for their members, let's say we're gonna have to show this 5 pages, right? 5 pages. This will be a web development team, and they will just deploy it with some other vendor like hosting company, like let's say Bluehost or SiteGround or stuff like that, and they will just host it on top of those hosting, and we don't need to touch those hosting because inside as a sysadmin, we don't work that kind of stuff. We don't go and manage hosting for other people, right? In some companies they do. It depends on where you live, which country you're from. So it depends on the roles. Because if you let's say you're in India or in Pakistan, we may be doing these kind of things, and they will call us sysadmin. And we'll be doing everything, right? But if you're working in US or Australia or UK, then we define our roles and market define these roles. And no, this is not a sysadmin job. This is a web development team. It should have a team to do that kind of stuff. But Sanju, if this is a website that is hitting or is going to be running from our servers or maybe a cloud servers that we are going to be managing, we are going to be the owners of these servers, then who's going to be managing the server? Sysadmin, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that website to be deployed on these type of servers, then you're going to be heavily involved. So a developer will give you a code, and a developer will say that this needs to be put on an IaaS web server that we already have. So you then need to be involved in getting the domain name, DNS changes, IP configuration, HTTP, HTTPS configuration. Then in the website, then people will say that can I redirect this website because this is old now. We're going for a new website, and that's on the same server, another server. So then you need to get into redirect rules or HTTPS rules and stuff like that, and stuff like that. Of course, you see how you got involved. Even the website is their job, but since it's running on our server, we got heavily involved, right?
Right. Right.
So then, of course, you need to know about the IaaS web server, Apache, or stuff like that. Does that
Yeah, I
answer?
saw your last video that you installed IAS and teach us about that.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
no problem. So that's just one aspect of it, right? Then of course there are other things too, like if somebody wants a internal products, like for example accounting. So think about it. Back in the days, 5, 6, 7 years ago, a lot of people were using desktop applications for accounting and stuff like that. So in this 6 years or 5 years of time, people moved to what? Web-based applications, and now even mobile, right? So those mobile application has to run somewhere then, right? That those websites. So that's internal, and that's running on internal servers, either cloud or internal on-premises servers. So then who's managing all these websites? You.
Yes, you said.
It's the sysadmin, yeah. We don't do anything with code, by the way. If the code has a problem, then of course you just say that's not my that's it. That has to go to the development team. So how does it work out then? Of course, then you need to understand ticketing system, how ticketing system works. So
Right.
when a help desk gets that ticket, the help desk is knowledgeable enough to not give you that call because it has to do something with the code. So that's
Yeah.
where, yeah, at a level one help desk, when we teach people, we're teaching people in this type of method where we're training them. Hey, when you go to the work, that's what they're expecting. So they get prepared.
Right. Thank you.
No problem. That's a good question. A lot of people get confused, right? Like, hey, what do I really need to touch my coding or anything like that? No. Um, I mean, some companies, like I said, like if you work somewhere and you live somewhere, that's a very different area then.
Yeah, yeah, because in India, like boss expect everything from our IT admins. They can do everything. Like
I'm from
we can.
Pakistan, so I totally understand what you're saying right now. So, because the thing is that they expect you to be a, and when they pay you for engineering jobs, they're like, you got to know everything. You
Yeah,
got to do everything.
they think we are supermen and we know everything.
It's not as, it's one thing that they know, but it's like the culture is also kind of like, the way they have made this whole thing is like they want to save money, right? Why would they want to hire somebody for a network engineer, sysadmin? They just call you a network engineer. You are sysadmin too. Just go, yeah, I'll give you a title. So what now? You got to do everything. So it's a money too, right?
Right.
So lastly, what I want to do is I want to now show people that if you're using a SSD, I want you to do this project with people because some people have asked me if you have 16 GB RAM on your computer. So first thing is that yes, with the 16 GB RAM, you can deploy a lab, but you're still going to be very much struggling based on what kind of hard drive you're using. So if you're using a normal hard drive and you're not using SSD, then even a 16 GB RAM is kind of like painful in my knowledge, because I work with so many different things now that I feel like I cannot stand this kind of slowness. If you're a first time user, maybe, and you're not used to SSD type of thing, you're not used to virtualization, then maybe you are seeing this and you're like, okay, that's fine. That's a normal process. So it's like how your mind works too, right? Because if you're used to a very fast car, right, and you sit in a very slow car after like driving a pretty good, nice car, I'm sure you're going to be getting annoyed, right? Why? Because now you're used to something better and fast. So that's how we all IT people work too. So if I see something like this, which is like, say, this machine, if you want to check how much memory you have, we have we have 8 GB RAM in this. I thought I have a 16 GB RAM. Okay. Anyway, I have 18 GB RAM, and I have a normal, desktop operating system, Windows 10. And here in one of my videos, if you go to JobSkills Share and type JobSkills Share VirtualBox, I have done this process on another video, but that's a little old video. And then in that video, I also showed that you need to enable a virtualization on a BIOS level. So basically, every computer, every server comes with this feature that you can turn on, this feature that enable virtualization on the BIOS level. So you have to do that, and you have to make sure your CPU and your system is enough and new enough to have that feature. So it's extremely old systems, and of course you need to buy a new system. For you to find out that, how do you find out if that feature is on or off? So if you right click in Windows 10 and go to Task Manager and you go to Performance, you see on right here on the bottom, it says virtualization what? Enabled. So in the BIOS, I already done that. So if you don't see this disabled, if you see this disabled, you will still be able to download VirtualBox. But what problem with that is going to be, you're going to have, first of all, you're going to have a lot of issues in the future when you download these operating system with 64-bit system ISOs. And if you do new right here and you click on, let's say, an operating system version, you're only going to see 32-bit. You won't see it 64-bit. So that's where you need to go and enable that, because then you're going to have issues. And I showed that in an example in my JobSkills Share channel. So if you're feeling that you're missing this stuff, just go to JobSkills Share and type VirtualBox with it, and you're going to see these two videos. So the first thing over here, like I said, if you want to do this on a VirtualBox, you're going to go online and download VirtualBox. Just run next, finish it, or watch my previous video. Then the second thing you need to do is to go to online, and you're going to have to download some of the ISOs. So I'll just basically type like Windows 10 Enterprise ISO like that. So when I do this, you see, it says that try Windows 10 Enterprise ISO, and I go to Google, and then basically I log in and I download this ISO file. So you need this for any virtualization, Hyper-V, VMware, Citrix, whatever you want to name it, for VirtualBox. And then I do this like this 2019, ISO. Yeah, that's also true. So you can also type a Windows creation media tool. But does it give you, by the way, the straight evaluation, or does it take you to like a real ISO? Because certain ISOs won't give you 180 days. It's just like they want the license right away. So you gotta make sure that you don't
It's the same
download.
one.
Oh, it's the same one. Okay. If it's the same one, then that's fine. You can do that.
For Windows 10, that's what I use. I go to Windows Media Creation Tool and download for Windows 10.
Okay, perfect. So here you guys, you heard it from Jerry too. You guys can do that too. So wait, let's say it again one more time because my chat doesn't show in the this way. Let me open that. Man, I always forget this. Where's the chat? Here. So it's called what's Jerry? It's called media creation tools for Windows 10.
Yes, that's the one.
Would that work with the servers too?
No, not for the server. For the server, I just do that's only for Windows 10.
Okay.
For server, I just, on the search, I just go server 2016, and it brings you straight to this page that you're on, and you can download 2016. And if you scroll, you download the 2019 as well.
All right, I'll just paste it right here just in case people are watching this video. I don't know if this, yeah, there you go. I think I pasted it. So if people want to download the server ISO, they can do it that way too. So let's say you have a VirtualBox, you downloaded a server ISO and you downloaded a Windows 10 ISO. Then after that, you open a VirtualBox. Once you install it, then you have certain features in VirtualBox on your machine to run that system. Like, if you, let's say, for example, you want to create a domain controller lab that we have already done in Hyper-V, we have already done that in VMware, we have already done that in Azure. We're now showing you that on a VirtualBox. I'm not going to go through it, by the way, because I'm not a big fan of doing VirtualBox stuff, but I just wanted to show people that, hey, I have already done this video, so you can go to youtube.com and just do that. So the whole domain controller process is already done in my YouTube video. So let me show that quickly here, just in case people are wondering. You're talking about it, but you're not showing it. So if you go to youtube.com and just type job skill share, and then you do virtual box like that, you can see right here, look at this one, set up an Active Directory domain controller in VirtualBox. Oh my God, I have a video 6 years ago, Jerry, about VirtualBox.
That's a long time ago, 6 years ago.
And then I have, look at this, set up VirtualBox, install Windows 2016 and Active Directory for practice. This is what I was talking about, enable 64-bit option in VirtualBox. And there's a bunch of videos right here about VirtualBox that I created. I don't know who would watch this video, by the way, Jerry. 9 years ago. Oh, sometimes I like to go back to these videos just to kind of hear myself, like, what was I doing? Right?
Yeah.
Look at this, guys.
9 years ago is a long time.
Check this out. Check this out. I was using a notepad, and oh, hold on. Was that XP? Is that XP? It looks like XP.
Yes, that's XP.
That looks like XP. Yep. Oh yeah, that is XP.
Hey guys, listen. This tool is amazing. Okay, this tool right here, I still used it on one of my server, because what happened to one of my server, I lost the password, and so I lost the password. I couldn't get into the local admin. I'm like, man, and this was a virtual environment, right? I was like, damn, and it was an old server. So remember, in the old servers, if you put an ISO, you cannot just right click and mount an ISO. Like, let me show you how this is right here. This is pretty cool stuff right here. So if I right click on this ISO, you see how a Windows operating system, the brand new one after 2012, I guess, you can right click and just mount it. You don't need a software, by the way, right? So if I mount this, it will be added to what? My PC area, and I can just download directly an operating system on top of it, right? So if you look at it, I can do that without any software. But if you're using a very old system, and let's say you don't like this process, you don't want to mount it like that, that piece of software that I'm showing right here, Virtual Clone Drive. It's called Virtual Clone Drive. Look at this, 9 years ago, 2010. Man, I've been on YouTube for a long time. I feel like I'm really old right now. So this is where I started all this stuff, by the way. This is where I was like, man, I found something really cool. Let me show it to you guys. So I've been doing that for almost 9 years. So if somebody goes to my channel, think about how much information you can learn from this channel. You can just become a whole level 1, level 2 to level 3 IT professional and still get into like some of the SysAdmin stuff. That's kind of like what it covers. So by the way, if I come back over here, let's go back. This is how you guys can actually go back and do that, but I'm not going to go over totally on that. So you're going to click on new one, and then you're going to say 2000. Let's just call it domain controller DC. And then he'll pick what? 2019. Next. So this is where things can get tricky for a lot of people who are using home labs. Okay. If you're using a home lab, you can see what does this represent, by the way. If I go from this little green arrow to this orange arrow, what does it tell me? Anyone?
If you're in green, then your machine will be run smoothly. If you will increase your RAM, maybe it's will get you the towards the low performance.
Perfect. So as soon as you go to the, so basically you're using a machine right now. Inside the machine, you're using a software that virtualizes things. So that's why I said in my trainings that why we don't use VirtualBox is because we don't rely too much when we start working in a real environment, unless you work for a very small company or this company has 5 or 6 developers working. So maybe this person might deploy a VirtualBox for them, not a problem. But if you're working for very large companies, they're using vCenters and they're using ESXis and stuff like that. And they're using a Hyper-V type of technologies, virtualization technologies. So here, if you look at it, if you have 8 GB, then this machine, of course, you're not going to give it about, like, let's say right here, like you're not going to come all the way right here. Then your one machine, virtual machine, is taking over a lot of your RAM already. If you already have 8 GB. So what you will do is you're going to come to, let's say 2048 is recommended right here. So if you cannot just do that bar, you can just type it right here, right? So it says, we recommend that you for this machine, for this operating system, we recommend that. So we're going to click next with the recommendation. And then here you can basically see existing virtual hard disk. You can create a new one. We don't have an existing one. So then we're going to use the virtual disk image since we're using a VirtualBox. The other ones you have, you can use other ones too. Dynamic is like later on if you come over here and you want to expand that disk because you basically made a wrong decision by putting a very small, storage for that hard disk. Sorry. Then of course you cannot do it with fixed. You have to do a dynamic. So if you go to like the VMware, of course you have more options in that, and then we call it thin in that, and thin and thick. Thin, lazy, thick, lazy, thick, zero, something like that. So then you click next over here, and then you decide what kind of space. So the space has to be basically you need to know how much do you have in your machine. So I basically like to come over here and say I'll give this server 35. No problem. I can get away with 35 easily. So I said that I'm done with that, right? So now you see there's not much you can do, but here's another big thing that you need to consider. That do you want to connect this virtual machine with your local network that you're already using? That, for example, if I go to CMD, then what you want to do is you want to go and do ipconfig. Oops, sorry, ipconfig, and this is where you have this, address right here. So if you want to use your host and your virtual machine, and you want to connect these two together, you want to work between them two, then you will be using a bridge network. So we're going to right click over here, and then basically you're going to go to settings right here. Once you go to the settings, here you see the network. So you can do NAT, you can do bridge adapter, you can do internal network, which is going to be a separate network. You can do a lot of different things right here. NAT network also. So sometimes people prefer like, okay, I don't want to give it like I don't want to connect this virtual machine with my own network because maybe I'm using this machine for security purposes, right? Sometimes you put a malware on it, try to do something or try to launch security stuff. Or sometimes you may want to open an attachment that you don't want to open in your main machine. And I'll show you another feature inside Windows 10 now after 1903. After there's a sandbox feature inside Windows 10. I'll show you that too. So let's say, for example, for this specific purpose that you don't care about that, you want to learn about easy way of network. You don't want to mess around with, okay, who's going to go and do the netting and stuff like that. I don't want to understand this stuff yet. So I'll say in the beginning, just pick the bridge and you're going to get the same IP address from your router. So when you click OK in that, then of course you're going to start this. So when you start it, you see I didn't assign an ISO right now. Right now it's like it's going to look for it, right? Automatically, it's going to ask you, okay, you didn't give me an ISO. You didn't put a CD for me to start any installation. So where's that? So I'm going to say, okay, let me give it to you. I'm going to come over here. And then I'm going to say, okay, I need to add that, which ISO, what do I want to run on this virtual machine? I'm going to say, okay, I want to run 2019 server, and I'm going to choose it. Don't forget to choose it. Here, I'm going to choose that and start. So as soon as you start, you can see it's going to start opening up with that ISO right now. You see that? So now we're starting with 2019 server, and of course the next process is just next, and you finish it. And if you watch my YouTube video or any other video that I have created at domain controllers, you should be able to go across it. Now, of course, we're coming across some errors. You may see these errors and stuff like that. Sometimes I see with VirtualBox, I get these errors. This may be something that I'm doing wrong right now in this training, but sometimes you open it up one more time and then it fixes the issue. So I don't know if this is that issue or another issue. Like I said, I'm not a VirtualBox fan right here, so I may come across issues that I have not seen for a long time. So that's how you do it. So just look at it. If you do come across these issues, go online and look for it. Trust me, most of these issues are available out there. So right now it's basically giving me some logs right here. Of course, we're not going to do this in our live training right now, and I can ignore it and see if I can get away with it. Maybe sometimes I'll get away, this starts spinning and we'll just go through it, and sometimes it's crash and it won't even do it. So right now it's paused, it won't be able to go ahead. So anyways, that's not what we're going to fix today. Of course, it's not, this session is not about that. And then I'm going to add more and try to do that in your training. But like I said, in my suggestion to you guys is this: if you are going to do these kind of things, then invest a little bit of money on a server, probably R7010, R720, even below that, whichever server can take on virtualization. These servers are these days very cheap. Then you can buy that and then put a big RAM on it, and SSDs are very cheap. Just put a 1 TB SSD or 2 TB SSD and you got a monster out there. So you can, of course, do it that way. If you don't want to do it that way, you can come to us. You can go to some vendors. You can go to some, cloud type of platform, but only if they give you a host level access. What I mean is that they give you a ESXi access. They give you a straight access to something like that. So let me show it to you what I'm talking about. Let me open that.
But Danish, do you think that any of the cloud vendor will give a ESXi level access?
A cloud vendor will not give you, but there are basically, let me show you right here. This is what I'm talking about here. Put it down right. So something like this would be an access, like this is what you're talking about, right, Sanju? That are they going to give you something like this access?
Right. ESXi.
Okay. A cloud is not going to give you this type of access. So if you want to do this, you're going to go to Microsoft and say, I want an ESXi access from this vendor. And they're extremely expensive, right? I think one of my videos, I showed how expensive. They're not going to give you a very small access like this. Why? Because a lot of people are not going to buy their cloud virtual systems, right? So they want to make more money. So if they are going to give you, then they're going to throw something extremely expensive. And I don't think I would not suggest anyone for lab kind of stuff like that. So let's say if you do Azure ESXi, Does Azure have a solution on ESXi? Let's find out. I think they do. Right here. Let's see, what do they call? Forgot that. You see right here, Sanju?
Yeah, right. I can.
So it's called Cloud Simple, right? Azure VMware solution by Cloud Simple. So you have to actually buy a very expensive model from them. So it costs about $3,000 to $4,000 to above per month.
It is better to purchase your own old server and deploy at home.
Now, if you look at it, how are you going to get ESXi access from other people? You can get it directly from VMware, but it's going to be the same cost. If you go for AWS, it's almost the same cost, right? Because these products are not designed like that. They already have a solution for virtualization, right? But some companies need this kind of access. So of course they're like, it's going to be really expensive. But if you want to find out maybe ESXi Cloud, I think there's a company called OVA. They have something like this. Is it OVA, OVD? Something. Oh, I forgot the name, man. ESXi server. Let's just do ESXi server. I forgot it. I think the reason I know about that is because I need it if I run out of my own data center servers. You know what I mean? Let's say we have because we are almost like 80% gone right now. So then I need to rely on a company, right?
Right.
Ah, man, I forgot. What is their name? Anybody help me out? I think it's OVF. What is that? There's a very well-known company. God, ESXi server. Is it
No issues. Danish, if I want to ask one more question.
Yes.
It is not related to this, if you allow me to ask.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So that I have heard everything is moving on the cloud now, and I have heard that the systems are also moving on the cloud. Like if I have 500 machines in my company, they are moving to the cloud. Means I didn't get the thing that how can the desktops moving to the cloud? How things can happen? Is there any concept or this?
Well, let me clear it for me. Like when you say moving to the cloud, like are you saying that you're seeing companies or you're working in a company that they're moving to?
No. I have heard the concept that desktop cloud.
Okay, so you're saying that the desktops are also moving to the cloud, like
yes.
some kind of like a VDI or some kind of virtualization, right?
Right.
To be honest, not much in a normal. It's going to be a lot of companies that are remote type of, and they have developers working in a different type of content. Like let's say I have a developer working in Pakistan, right? Or maybe I have a developer working in India, right? And
Right.
my developer says that I don't have I don't want to use my laptop. You hired me, but can you provide me a better solution, right? So then, of
Right.
course, I'm not going to send a developer $2,000 to buy a Mac for him, right? Right? That usually doesn't happen like that, because you would want to control that access and everything. Also, then of course, if they say that I don't have that, so maybe what's my solution right here? Then you can go for a cloud VM, a solution, and you say this is your VM. I'm controlling. It's connected to our domain too. You will have all the access to and everything. So the developer do the job. You got the control over the content. You got the control over the backups and everything. In that scenario, does that make perfect sense, right? Because now you're not. If a developer is coding something, maybe they have also a content and everything. But if he has to deploy something, he has to do something. Of course, then I have a control over it too, right?
Right.
So if the developers leave me tomorrow, decide I don't want to work for you, at least I can say, okay, let me take off the access.
Okay.
And now I have a control. Then a new developer comes in. I don't need to worry about the next laptop, or I'm not going to call the developer, hey, bring my Mac again.
Okay.
Right. That will never happen, right?
Yeah.
So in that type of situation, I can see that's happening with a user doing something on the cloud. Now, right now, a user is not heavily involved inside the infrastructure side of the cloud, right?
Okay.
We are putting Azure Active Directory, we're putting single sign-on applications, we're putting CMS systems in the cloud, we're putting a lot of search systems in the cloud, we're putting all these different applications in the cloud, but who's managing it? Still sysadmins and the cloud engineers, or whatever you want to call it right now. Yes. But a help desk, IT support technicians, they're going to take a long time for people to say that, okay, let's just go all in cloud. We're still going to be using laptops like this one that you see in front of me right now, or desktops, because we're still going to be using equipment. Those equipments are going to be connected to the cloud. Like, for example, Office 365. It has a software that you need to install inside your computer, like Outlook, right?
Right.
You still have Outlook, right? You still download Outlook, right?
Yes.
And then that Outlook is connected to what? To Office 365 in the cloud,
Yes.
right? So how much are you involved? You need to learn both areas. So a lot of people think that they may move to the cloud, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. You still have to do a lot inside the desktops area, hands-on kind of stuff. So it's not gonna change anytime soon. It's gonna be long time for on-premises type, hybrid type of situation working right now. For a long time, that's gonna be happening.
Yeah, it will take a long time just because the hybrid solution and the servers have just introduced nowadays.
Well, I
And
tell you what, 2008 support just I don't know, forgot about it's ended or it's about to end, but it's about to end, or if I'm not mistaken, it's probably ended, or maybe there's a date, I forgot that. But I got a call that there are, let's say, some company that needs to upgrade their servers, like let's say about 15 servers needs to be upgraded because now they got a call that Microsoft is not going to be supporting them. So now we're talking about 2020, and somebody just because they got, okay, we're done, we're not upgrading it anymore, right? Well, no more security. So now what happened? They're doing it now. So think about it. How many other companies are out there that are using 2012 right now, which is being supported? So, and then of course, that's, you think about that reality that we're way behind to tell people that everything is going to be in the cloud. That's just not. And cloud also realized it. Microsoft also realized it. Cisco also realized it. AWS also realized it. So they cannot go all in cloud. So what they did, they created two technologies together. So one is in the cloud, right? And they have made everything so they can connect it to the cloud. So now what's happening right now is they are coming up with a technology. So they're going to bring the cloud down to what? The data centers. So I'll give you an example. We are using ESXi right here, but we needed this in the cloud too. For some reason, somebody needed it, right? I needed it. Look, I'm providing this access to my live members, right?
Right.
People who take my live trainings, they get this access for 30 days. So I'm doing this. I am the product of this technology. Like I'm the customer of this technology itself, and then I have my own members, right? So then think about it. I needed this in the cloud, or I needed to give this through the website. So it cannot be running inside my own local network. Somebody has to do this, let's say from India or UK or Australia. I have members all over. So they will have to access this. But this is not a normal way. A cloud doesn't think of this like, a cloud is like, we don't need this. We have a different system, right? So now you see, I as a customer needs it. So cloud, Azure thinks about, Azure came up with a solution or not? They came up with a solution, right? I just showed that solution, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
AWS also came with the solution that, okay, a lot of people are looking for ESXi's, man. We should put that in their cloud too, because it doesn't make any sense, but people need it, right?
Right.
So you think about it right now that we're going to be inside this mid area for a long, long time before we say that it's totally cloud or it's something else. Right now it's 50-50. Nobody can make that decision right now. Nobody have that.
And in such scenarios, I have also seen that cloud is more means data center is cheaper than the cloud. In such scenarios, I have saw also that companies are stop moving to the cloud and they back to the internal infrastructure.
Well, take me an example. Why am I not putting a ESXi on a cloud, or why am I not going with this company? Because they are selling ESXi, by the way. This is a company that I was actually talking about, OVH. So some people say, okay, I don't want to buy ESXi 6.7. They don't even have 6.7, by the way. If let's say I want to go with the 6.5, and you say I need this server, right? So what you will do, you're gonna come over here and let's say, oh, let's see if they have it here. So maybe you can come over here and you will pay by how much memory are you gonna get from them, right? So if you look at it, they have different type of availabilities right here. So I didn't see the. Can I get to directly to ESXi, by the way? It should be a bare metal type of thing, right? Learn more about ESXi. It'll take me over here. I want to learn that. Full dedicated servers right here. So they're costing 32 GB, 59 a month, 500 MB, which is a good deal right here. So different type of companies will put their servers available in this company, and then they can make money from their data centers. That's how now the data centers are not being utilized a lot, right? A lot of people went for cloud too, right? So their servers got to be used. So of course they came and they say, okay, let's just put our servers right here. But then if you want to go for more 32 GB, then there will be a $70, then there will be like $75. But the thing about this is that, are you going to get that kind of CPU with it or something like that? Are they going to give you a virtual 8 vCPUs? Or are you going to get like a lot, or are you going to get less than that, right? Then on top of that, do you get to access that ESXi at the root level? Maybe you'll get it. I'm sure you'll get it. And on top of that, now it's bare mental, meaning it's just empty like this. So is somebody going to teach you on top of that, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you definitely, if you're going to invest that money, then I'm sure you would be following some kind of guidance ahead of time, or else you're wasting your money, because it's daily basis. You're losing that, right?
Yes, yes.
So my suggestion to people is that even if you're going to go for something like that, at least make sure you have a plan ready. Either you go by us, you go by somebody else. You got to make sure you got a plan ready right now. Then you can use these 30 days, and that money will worth it then, okay? But let's say I don't even want to go for that. Like you gave a perfect example. Why would I put $71 when I can do this for free in my dance? I'm only losing my electricity, right? And licensing and stuff like that. And maybe my own effort, or maybe my help desk guys getting in, setting this up. That's manual for me, labor for me, paying them. That's the only money that I'm paying. But of course, I'm not paying for the usage over here, right? I don't care if somebody's using it for, like, let's say, for 30 days and they do an unlimited bandwidth on it. That doesn't matter in data centers, inside the data center. But if they are going to be putting it in there, then it matters, because then somebody has to charge them and make that money, right?
Right.
Does it make sense?
Yes, yes.
So ESXis and stuff like that are being heavily used in this type of environment, because a lot of people are gamers, developers, they have small companies, they may have something like us, unique stuff, then you need this type of stuff. But if you're not in that type of thing, then of course, why would you want to waste your money? Just go for your own servers.
Yes, yes, and because it's also maybe a reason that from one server to the different means so many people, they are given an access from one hardware server. I'm talking about cloud. So it is difficult that they can give an ESXi access.
ESXi access is not an easy thing to do. That's why you won't see it in many of the environments. People are not going to give this type of access, easily. Like, you're just not going to get that kind of access. Most of like, you go to the trainings, they do what? They give you 3 virtual machines. So that's very cheap for them. It's extremely cheap for them, right? Because you can just spin up 3 machines. You may buy a pretty heavy servers, and from that one server, you can sell 3 virtual machines, many of them, and you could make money. So when we were making that decision, by the way, when we were training for a live membership, we had the same option. I could have done the same thing, right? We buy a server for, let's say, with 192 GB RAM, and we put, let's say, 4 TB storage out there, and we put a 24 core vCPUs or whatever. We would go 48 vCPUs too. We could have made a lot of money, by the way. Like, imagine how many 3 virtual machines I could give from that one server, right? A lot of them, right?
Right.
But the problem with that is that if I start teaching and I start saying, hey, let's talk about virtualization, then how do I explain virtualization in those 3 virtual box? Like, so I'll give you a perfect example right now. If I open a virtual, this would be a virtual example, right? These 3 are virtual machines. And in our example, we're using these machines for troubleshootings only. So we're not even giving this access for learning. Learning is what we're giving ESXi. This is going to be a mock testing. So people are going to come over here. They're going to use these 4 machines to learn about, like, okay, let me send you that, hey, why is this JavaScriptShare.org not coming? So this is a predefined thing that I am trying to achieve out of it, right?
Right.
But if I want to teach somebody a full-blown domain controller stuff, And how do you create a domain controller from scratch? And I need to restart that machine. I need to create some virtual machine. I need to take an image. And how do I do this in virtual environment like this? I can't do it. You see,
Yes,
that's where
yes,
that's
yes.
where the problem is with a lot of trainers or a lot of YouTubers or a lot of teachers who want to train this stuff, who have the knowledge to do this stuff, but who is going to take on these kind of things?
Yes.
It's a big taking, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
requires my effort. It requires people that I'm paying. It requires technology. It requires a lot of things, and that's why when people come to our platform and they say, "Oh, you guys are charging like $1,000 for your live training," I'm like, "That's not a Udemy type of course, guys. It's not a video course. It's more. It's huge than that. It's like a platform. It's like a full blown a person sitting with you and teaching everything and creating, like, transferring those skills. And not only that, is actually providing you the resources. So then people understand it later on when they become an IT professional. They spend like a year or two, and then they start realizing how much we are giving out.
Mr. Dani sir, that I can bet you right now that what in the right now market scenarios are going is, if they are going to teach us, they are just giving a video courses. Nobody's giving our practical labs like you.
Yeah,
That's what I have seen
there
in
are
the right
there
now
are
market
people
scenario.
there are people that are giving practical labs like this one. So this is not us, or like, this is a partner with us, practice labs, right? So
Yes, yes,
the only problem with this is that even though they're our partner, one of the thing is that if you switch this lab on, this gives you 60 minutes on the bottom right here. And these
yes,
labs are also kind of locked down in their own training, which is, let's say, this operating system type. So if you open it, you have to follow this learning, which is extremely powerful, by the way. Very, very powerful. But it misses also some of the things that we want to teach in a real world. So then that 30 days of using a server without touching it, you have like a full access to it, and you have it for 30 days. And the way I want to teach you, I don't have any limitations, so I don't get stuck with the time. So you see how powerful these two becomes then.
yes.
That is the key right there. So what we have done, we have made them a partner. We know they're the best out there in the labs, so we made them a partner. We're like, okay, let's just do this together. Why don't we do our products over here, and you do you guys you, and we make our own skills based on the what we have right now. And I see
Yes.
that's something you won't see. Like, a platform will make money because they have already created videos, they already have a system. So if you go to like different type of system, I don't want to say their names, but you may go there, they may give you the same labs, but then they will have a videos, but then they're not going to be giving you a trainer to, okay, you know what, let's just give you a full trainer to teach you for the next 3 months.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
So this is the things that students can learn. We can learn that like practically if we do the things. If you buy any video course, you will see videos you cannot going to understand if since you not perform it. And this is
Yeah,
what
like
we are
like I
getting
said,
in
if
job.
somebody wants a video, right? A video, look, if somebody wants a video access, so I showed this link like a lot of times right now, right? If they go to this JobSkillShare/free link, these courses are all for free, and it's more than 100 hours of content. So if somebody wants a quality skills videos, then it's for free. We're not even charging for that,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah,
but for someone to perform these and somebody just sit with you and kind of groom you and teach you and understand you, because every human being is different, they react differently, they'll understand differently, they need more examples, then of course that's a very time consuming thing, and that's where money will start talking.
right.
So again, at the end, it's a very much a personal choice, and I don't like to force that onto anybody who comes to our platform. But I tell them that, hey, right now you're too new for you to understand the pricing. For you right now, if you're brand new and you're just coming straight to this IT technology or IT career, for you, you may think that that's a lot of money. Later on, when you spend a 2 or 1 year or 6 months in the technology and you feel like you just didn't get what you're looking for, then you start to realize the kind of like the people start valuing this type of skills training later on.
Yes, yes.
So I guess we covered a lot of different things today. I know it was not a focus on one thing. Sanju, thank you for joining me. I know it's also pretty. Is it how? What's the time in India right now?
Right now it's 8:30 in the morning.
Which part of India are you from?
I am from Gujarat,
Oh, Gujarat. Okay,
Eastern India.
nice, man. So do you watch our channel like regularly?
I am your very old subscriber.
Okay. When did you join, by the way?
Uh, like 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours before.
No. I mean, like, when did you join the job? Like, when you say old subscriber, how long?
How long? Yeah, 4 to 5 hours before.
Oh, 4 or 5 hours before. Okay.
Sorry, hours, no, years before.
Years. That's like hours, years. I'm like, okay, man. Yeah, you've been in here for a long time, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you
If
should
you have
con.
noticed my comments, I don't know, but I'm your old subscriber.
Yeah, you should just send me an email, man. We can always help our first batch of subscribers. Anyways, if you need any help or anything, just directly email me. I like to
Sure,
help
sir. Sure.
any way I can. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you guys for joining in. Jerry, I know you've been there for a long time too, so thank you. Always joining me in live trainings, live sessions. Tomorrow I might join in with KevTech later on, maybe if I have the energy, I might do that. But like I said, tomorrow I have training to finish my last batch, so I spend like 3-4 hours in that batch, so I might not be able to do that. So I'll see you probably next week. If not, then maybe I'll see you guys some other time. Thank you, Sanju. Take care,
you.
everybody, and be safe out there.
Good night. Thank you, Danish. Good night.
Thank you, everybody in the chat. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all the questions. I will kind of copy that, and then I will definitely, answer. What IT jobs will bounce back the fastest after pandemic ends? Yes, definitely. It'll come back. I'll talk about this later on. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Bye.